Hey, everybody, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Dr. Andrea Christian Parks. Welcome to my channels. Whether you're here on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, if you're here live, if you're here on the replay, welcome. I'm glad you're here. If you haven't been here before, you don't know me, I am an OBGYN doctor and a weight loss coach. And I personally lost 60 pounds myself 17 years ago. Now, it took years for me to figure out exactly how to teach other people to do what I did, because just because you do something doesn't mean you know how to teach other people how to do it. And if any of you have gone to your doctors and said, I need help, I want to lose weight, you probably didn't get very far with that. Why? Because most doctors don't do weight loss. They don't have any nutrition background. They have no tools that say this is how you lose weight. So I think the issue that most people run into is that they really want to lose weight and they go to the person who's telling them, you need to lose weight, your doctor, and they tell you, eat less and exercise more. And that's about as far as you get. So for me, as a physician, taking care of patients, it was very frustrating because I wanted to help people do what I had done. And I didn't know how to do it. But now, when I work with clients and I help people to successfully permanently lose weight, the way I teach it is based on a very simple process. I don't do complicated diets, punishing workouts. I don't recommend that people go keto or do something extremely radical. There are times when, based on your medical situation, there's some very, very strict diets that will heal the body. But for most people, that's not where we start. For most people who want to lose weight, feel better, improve their health, get off some medications, the number one thing that has to happen is weight loss. And there's lots of ways to lose weight as far as what you're eating. There are some diets that are healthier than others, no doubt. I would never argue without that. And honestly, I think at this point, a lot of people know that a plant based diet is the most health related diet that we can observe. The problem is, most people can't just flip a switch and be plant based. So, the best thing for most people to do is start somewhere. So here's one of the things I want to really talk about. For those of you who've been watching me and know me, you know I am a Christian. I believe in God's design for the body. I believe strongly that God knew what he was doing when he made our bodies and he created us to eat food in a certain way. Now, what is that way? There are two major signals that are in our bodies that tell us to eat and to stop eating. And that varies from individual to individual. How much I eat, when I eat, what I eat is not going to be the exact same thing as what works for you. But your body actually was designed to tell you when to eat. And what is that signal? For those of y'all who watch me before, you know what the answer already. It's hunger. Hunger is the signal to eat. Fullness is the signal to stop eating. Here's the problem. Most people ignore both of those signals. Most people are eating for all kinds of reasons other than hunger and eating way past full most of the time. First of all, if you eat when you're not hungry, how do you really know when the hunger is gone? You don't. You're just eating because you like the taste of the food. So hunger and fullness go together and are indwelling signals that are you have been built with in your body. When God designed your body, God put those in there. So it is your job, if you're going to use this body to direct when you eat, how much you eat, what you eat, all that, you got to listen to the body. So for those of you who haven't seen me before, don't know what I do, I'm a physician, MD, who also does weight loss coaching. And I teach you to put your faith in action by listening to the body and doing very simple things that help you to lose weight. So, when I teach people, when I get together with my clients, when I sit down with them for the first time, when we create a plan, we create a program that they're going to follow and that I'm going to help them follow through the time we work together. The plans can vary. The plans can be a little different person to person. But there's one thing that every single client gets taught and gets put into their program, and that is the very simplest of structures about eating and not eating. And as simple as it is, it gets ignored over and over and over again. And I want to talk about why, and I'm going to get to some scriptures that really help you to take your faith and put it into the action of doing this very, very simple actions that you need to do that will help you to lose weight. So let's go there. So let's start. Hunger and fullness go into every single plan of every single client that I work with. We talk about it. The vast majority, I have yet to actually meet a person who said, no, I only eat when I'm hungry. Only, ever. No, I never eat because I'm frustrated or stressed or anxious. I just eat when I'm hungry. Because people who only eat when they're hungry generally don't have a weight problem. They just generally don't. When you are in tune with the body and you respond to what the body's asking for, which is when it's asking for food, it's hunger, then you generally don't have a weight problem. There are many times when your body will ask for food. Actually, it's really more your brain that's asking for food when you're not hungry. And usually it's to solve an emotional challenge. It's stress, fatigue, frustration. Sometimes it's celebration. We just learn to eat for lots and lots of reasons, have nothing to do with what the body actually needs. So if you start from a place of hunger and fullness, from observing what God has taught you to do in your body, of when to eat and when not to eat, that's the key. Now, even though this is the basic structure of where we start in a coaching session, people go one of two ways. There's two big extremes that people will swing to. One is it's too simple. It's just too simple. It's got to be more complicated. That comes from many, many years of dieting, many, many years of following different programs, different diets that tell you to eliminate this or weigh this or measure this. And so when you are used to having lots of information and very complex plans in order to succeed at weight loss, and for most people who try to lose weight for any length of time, they have tried lots of different things. Some of them have worked, except they've only worked temporarily, and they've only worked as long as you work the plan. So if you go on a very, very strict zero carb, nothing of any sort of carbohydrate in your diet, and you drop a bunch of weight, then you go, well, that's what I have to do to lose weight. The problem is it's not sustainable, and it's not even true. It's just a hack that helps people drop mostly water weight. And then as soon as you put a little carbs back in your diet, all that water comes right back. So there are nuances, but that's the simple version. So what people do is they know that the simple thing to do is I just wait till I'm hungry. If I'm not hungry and there's food offered, if it's lunchtime, if whatever it is, I don't eat unless I'm physically hungry. It's that simple. Their brain goes, that's just too simple. It's got to be harder than that. And they want to make it more complicated. So that's one thing over here. The problem with that is then they go to the other extreme and they want to add things. So rather than do the simple thing, wait till you're hungry. Wait when you're eating, stop as soon as you're full. And I mean politely full. Not, oh, I'm stuffed. Oh, I need to lay down. I need a nap. I want to take off my work clothes and put on my comfy clothes. Not that kind of full. Just politely full. The hunger is gone. I feel good. I have energy. That's full enough. Instead of learning how to do that, they swing to the other extreme and want to add a bunch of things. A lot. Now listen, I teach all kinds of techniques and brain science and chemistry and all kinds of things that help people understand why this works. But what people want to do is then they want to add things. I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to eat at this time. I'm going to put a barrier around when I'm going to eat and when I'm not going to eat. Now, the reason why people do that, usually, if they've started with hunger and fullness and they're trying to lose the weight and they're watching themselves actually lose the weight, this is what happens. When I work with folks in the very beginning, and the major thing I ask them to do is only eat for hunger and stop at politely full, they lose weight. And then they want to add stuff. And usually the reason is because they want it to go faster. They want the weight loss to speed up. The problem is when you're going for speed instead of sustainability, it's not sustainable. It's not both. And so if you're trying to go really fast, usually you can't maintain that speed. If you go for sustainability, on the other hand, you're going to succeed in the long term because it's something you can continue. It's something you can replicate day after week, after month, year after year. And so that's really what you're going for. Speed is not the point. Think about it for a second. If you lost 5 pounds in the next 6 months, that could be 10 pounds in a year. In 2 years, it would be 20 pounds. In 3 years, it'd be 30 pounds. If you lost 30 pounds over the next 3 years, what might happen to your medications, to your medical problems, to the pain in your knees, to the pain in your back? 30 pounds? As opposed to what most people are doing, which is gaining 5+ pounds a year, year over year over year. Now, most of my clients are losing weight way faster than 10 pounds in a year. But just imagine if it were really that slow, what success you would have. So let's get into the faith part, okay? The point of all of this is to recognize that how you're eating is a faith issue. So what does that mean? When you eat, you are choosing to do one of two things, either to trust God in when you eat and how you eat, or trust yourself, or a program or a plan or a diet, okay? I want to remind you of the duality in the scriptures. In James 2:26, it says, faith without deeds is dead. This is why I say we want to put faith into action. Faith is not just blind belief. Faith is not just, I think this, I believe this, and then it'll happen. That's magical thinking. Now, the Spirit moves, God does what he does. But when you're trying to move with the Lord, God asks you to move. God asks you to do something. And sometimes it's very simple and also very challenging. If you've been eating for many, many years, just because this is what you've learned, this is what culture says, we eat at lunchtime, we eat this kind of food, we eat when we're stressed, and all of a sudden now you're being asked to do something different, to do something very simple, but very, very crucial, which is just wait until you're hungry. Then when you are tempted to eat, and God has said, wait till you're hungry, you have to believe and you have to have faith that that is going to be successful in order to say no to eating when you're not hungry. So remember what James 2:26 says, faith without deeds is dead. Putting your faith into action when you eat is a faith issue because you have to decide, yes, I will eat when I'm hungry, and I will not eat when I'm not hungry. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I want you to think in terms of Hebrews 11:6. And that scripture, I'll read the whole thing, says, and without faith, it is impossible to please God. Because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. So you cannot decide to trust God with your eating and then really trust a plan or a program, because God is not going to ask you to do something super complicated that is beyond your ability to sustain. He's going to ask you to do something simple, may not be easy, but it's something that you can do and that he will help you through your faith to achieve. So what we're going for is our faith that pleases God, not a program or a plan without faith that we know in Hebrews 11:6, it is impossible to please God without that faith. So what most people do is one of two things. Either just faith. Just faith is I just believe this weight's going to come off through the power of the Holy Spirit. I'm going to do nothing different, and I just believe. That's that magical thinking. That's not faith. Faith is grounded in reality because God has created our reality. And so just faith without any action at all, too far on this side. Okay. Then you've got just deeds. I'm going to get a program. I'm going to print it off the internet. I'm going to follow it to the letter. I'm going to do every single thing in it. I'm going to cut out all the carbs. I'm going to weigh every ounce of food. I'm going to count every single calorie. That kind of stuff, that's faith in a diet, faith in a plan, faith in a program, but not faith in God. Because faith in God says when God asks you to move and he's created you in a certain way, that you will honor what he has taught you and you will hold there even when you don't want to, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're miserable, like I don't want to wait to eat. I want to eat some chips right now. I want whatever it is, you're going to hold right there and follow. Now, it sounds easy, it sounds simple, but when you want to go eat and your stomach is not hungry, that's when the faith comes in. That's when it gets challenging. As simple as it is to say, no, I'm not going to eat. I'm going to wait because I know hunger will come. It may be 12 hours. It may be 20 hours. If you right now stop eating and wait, just wait to see what will happen. When will hunger come? You have to trust that God is going to create that hunger signal in your body for when you actually need fuel. So that's faith in action. So remember, without faith, it's impossible to please God. And faith without deeds is dead. So go back, read James 2:26, read Hebrews 11:6, and hold on to your faith. And wait to get hungry. Wait until your body is asking for food. Trust that God has created your body exactly as it's supposed to be and that it does work. It's not broken. It's not damaged. It can do exactly what he has planned for it to do. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that. We're going to keep going through the way you eat and how all that connects to your faith and putting your faith in action in how you lose this weight. Okay, for those of you who want it, come see me on my website. You can get my blog posts there. You can get recipes there. If you want to work with me, there's a button on the website that says calendar, and you can get an appointment on my website as well. If you just want to get a lot of help, binge watch some of these videos. You can get them all on YouTube and watch them all at once. So I will see you the very next time you are here with me. See you soon.